Well, welcome to
All
episode
right.
number 2.
So I kind of took the wheel on this one.
This
And
is all you.
so I know it's going to be fun. So it's all about different ways of categorizing personality. So I pulled some different personality type tests. The first one that we're going to do is a personality test that I just looked it up. I haven't done it either. So we're going to kind of do that together. Then we'll talk a little bit about astrology. Then we'll talk about Briggs. It's Briggs Myers, right? Briggs.
Yes.
Briggs. I always have it backwards. And then
That's your
we'll
dyslexia.
wrap it up.
You write about it in your
dyslexic.
diary.
Exactly. And then at the end, we'll talk about the 5 love languages. So just some different ways of thinking about personality. So the first test that we're going to do is called the field, the cube, the ladder, horse, and flower question.
Oh, I've heard people talk about this.
Have you done it before?
I didn't do it. Someone on a radio station did it once, and
Okay.
it was interesting to listen to.
Okay, so here we go. So it says, please follow these steps in order and try to be as honest as you can. All right, so you ready? So the first one is think of an open field. How big is the field? What is the field filled with? And what are the surroundings like?
And you want me to answer?
Yeah, so say it out loud.
So the field it's a large field.
Okay.
And it has
how large matters.
Like a football field, maybe bigger.
Okay. So not super huge. It's not the size of a planet.
Right.
It's big. 100 yards.
Yeah. And it's got just grass and like little flowers, like little daisies. No, yeah, not the dandelions, but those aren't cool. Those are cool too. But like just buttercups. Yeah, that's what I call them. You know, the ones that you like rub on your chin and makes it shiny for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah. It just has like just some like little like purple and yellow little flowers. Yeah.
Okay. So for me, as soon as I started reading that question to you, I started thinking about like back home in Texas in the springtime, on maybe like the side of the road where there's bluebonnets, and it's just bluebonnets for as far as you can see, bluebonnets and Indian paintbrush and just those kind of wildflowers, and so just blue flowers. And I would say it was a pretty good sized field, but not super huge, probably a little bit smaller than a football field for reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now in our field there, we're going to place a cube. We're going to think of a cube, 6-sided geometric shape.
All right.
Think of a cube. How big is the cube? What is it made out of? What is the surface like? What color is it? Where in the field is it? And then is it on the ground? Is it floating? Is it transparent? And if so, can you see inside? So we can take those question by question. So how big is your cube?
I'm gonna have a small cube.
Like how small?
Like it's in my hand.
Okay.
It's a small silver metal cube, like a magnet. It's just in my hand.
So it's a magnet.
I might even have 2 where I can just like play with them. I don't know.
So is that shiny? No, you can only have 1. You can only have like, 1 cube. Don't be greedy.
All right, fair enough. I have 1 cube. It's pewter.
Pewter, but I thought it was magnetic. Pewter's not magnetic.
No,
but
like
it's shiny,
the color.
like it.
No.
Okay, so it's shiny.
Pewter's actually like a matte, or it's like not shiny. It's like dull shiny.
Okay.
I know that's an oxymoron. I'm just saying.
What color is it? So it's kind of like silverish.
It's
right?
a silver. It has a sheen, but you can't see yourself in it.
Okay. So where in your football field of buttercups is your So it's in your hand. So it's not really floating, but it's not really on the ground.
It's just next to me in the middle.
Okay. But it's in your hand or it's on the ground?
In my hand.
It's in your hand. Okay. And then it's not transparent if it's made out of pewter.
Correct.
So you can't see inside of it?
No.
All right. So my cube, stop laughing at me. So my cube is made out of like that really thick, like glass, like almost bulletproof glass.
Like that glass they used to make bulletproof windshields?
Yeah. And it's probably like this, maybe, what is that? Maybe a little bit over a foot.
Yeah.
Long.
A foot cubed.
Dimension. And
12 by 12 by 12.
So the glass is really thick and you of course can see inside of it. And like rainbows come out of it from the sunshine because I'm in Texas in a bluebonnet field. And my cube is floating just a little bit above the surface and it's right next to me. And you can see inside of it. And it's hollow on the inside. All right, I think I answered all the questions. All right, so now we need to think of a ladder in our field. How long is the ladder? Where is this ladder located in your field? And what's the difference between the ladder and the cube? Maybe even what's your ladder made out of? Because there's different kinds of ladders.
Because I'm simple-minded.
Okay. I disagree, but go ahead.
I see an aluminum. We call them Little Giants. That's the brand name.
Okay.
It's one of those like folding ladders.
Okay.
So you can like have it like a teepee, or you can like stretch it out to make it really, really long.
Oh, so it's very versatile. It's a versatile kind of ladder.
Yes, good word, versatile ladder. Yeah, it's a multi. It's the one that I have in my house. It's
okay.
It'll be.
So where is it in? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Where is it in your field? Since it's one of those ones like that.
I guess next to me.
Okay.
I don't know why I would have a ladder in the middle of a field for no reason, but
I mean, you just never know. And then
yeah, it's a ladder that can, have different heights.
And it's close to you.
It is.
Okay. All right. So my ladder, I was thinking about like one of those old wooden kind of ladders. And my ladder has seen some wear and frickin' tear. Like it's on its last fucking legs. Okay. This ladder. It's like old school. It's one of those old school ladders made out of wood.
It's got bits of paint and stuff on it.
Exactly. Like it's had some frickin' use. Okay.
Yeah, mine has too.
Yeah. Like it's not one of those ladders that somebody bought and then just like stuck in their shed. Like this ladder, it gets used a lot and it's right next to me. And I'm almost kind of like, so I have like my cube, it's like kind of floating. And then my ladder, it's like kind of floating underneath my ladder because it's one of those A-frame ladders.
Okay.
So it's underneath, floating underneath the ladder. And they're very close. They're almost like right on top of each other. All right. So next we have to think of a horse. What color is your horse? What's your horse doing? And where is it in relation to your cube?
All right. So ooh.
Don't think too much about it. Just answer.
No, like a black and white horse.
Okay.
Like it almost looks like a zebra.
I was thinking the word zebra when you said black and white.
But it's actually a horse. It's like it looks more like a kind of like a cow, or
Okay.
Excuse me. And it's just kind of eating grass. It's just chilling.
Okay.
Just eating grass.
Is it an old horse, a young horse?
It's an adult horse.
Okay. It's an adult horse. Okay.
It's not like a little baby, but it's not like old. Do they have horse ears like dog ears? Is that a thing?
I don't know. That would be something interesting probably to find out. I don't know. I don't know if it does or not. So it's like a middle-aged horse.
Yeah, maybe even like it's in its horse 30s.
It's horse.
Maybe even horse 40. Like it just turned 40. The same age as me.
Poor horse. The poor horse. It's seen some shit. Okay. All right.
It's
So
horse
my
years.
horse,
It could be like 4 years old. Like I don't know horse
I mean,
years.
for real, but for real,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So my horse is one of those like chestnut horses that has like the little white spot on its head. And mine's more of like a teenage, playful, running around the field, eating the blue bonnets, like just having a good time. Like it's having some fun in the blue bonnet field. It's living its best fucking life.
Are horses
Okay.
allowed to eat those?
I think so.
I
You're
don't
not
know.
allowed to pick them. You're not allowed to pick them at all.
Like
It's against the state law.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're a protected plant in Texas. But it's a horse. It's a wild horse. That's just like a late teenage, early 20s kind of horse. Just
Okay.
living its best freaking life, like in horse years, whatever that means.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's kind of like frolicking around all around the ladder, which is over like the cube kind of thing, but it's having a good time, just living its life. All right, so next it says think of flowers. So you already said that you were thinking about buttercups.
Yeah.
Right?
That's because it's a field.
So where are they and how many are there? Are there just like one or two, or is there a lot?
Imagine a field.
Okay.
It's just a field. And they're like almost not OCD symmetrically, like, but just spread out, just a little everywhere.
Not OCD. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
sure.
they're not like a checkerboard pattern or anything. It's just they're just there.
But it's completely filled with the buttercups.
Yeah, they're just there. Like I don't know how to.
So mine, it's blue bonnets as far as the eye can see, like all in my fields, everywhere.
Okay.
And there's even kind of a hint of them in the distance as well. Some buttercups.
Yeah.
All right. So think of what the weather is like. Is it raining? Is it sunny? Is your field foggy?
Oh. So my original thought was it's just a clear day.
Right.
And I don't know if this matters at all, but it's either like mid-morning or mid-afternoon. Actually,
so the sun's not straight in the sky. It's kind of off to the side.
Yeah, we'll go with mid-morning. It's like it's a spring morning.
Okay. Right, because buttercups.
It's a spring morning after the dew has gone away. It's not too hot. There's a nice breeze. It's beautiful. It's just perfect. Picturesque.
So it's the perfect date, April 25th, because it's not too hot, it's not too cold. You could use a light jacket.
Not even a light jacket.
No, it's a movie quote.
Oh, like
maybe somebody who's watching this, maybe they'll get the joke. Okay, never mind. Moving on.
I failed at the movie quotes.
It's okay. I want to say it was Miss Congeniality was the movie with Sandra Bee. But anyway, I digress. Go ahead. Yeah. So it's mid-morning, dew's gone. Nice weather.
It's that 10:30, 11 a.m. The sun is warming everything up. The dew is gone, but it's not too hot. There's a cool breeze. A t-shirt and pants works. Not shorts. A little too chilly for shorts, but pants. Perfect. Like Easter. Like the perfect Easter. The flowers look like the little eggs that we hide for the kids. Yeah, that's...
Okay. You painted a picture for me. Thanks for that. All right. So the weather for me, it's a spring day in Texas because bluebonnets only sprout up like right around this time of year, end of April, end April. sometimes in the beginning of May. So it's this time of year there. So it's probably in the 80s, which is cold. So yeah, nice day, sunny. And then it says, think of a storm. Think of a storm. What is the distance between the storm and the cube? Is it a big storm or is it just passing through?
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. So in the scene that we're creating with the question you've asked, I see dark clouds far away.
Okay.
It's gonna be a heavy downpour, and you can almost smell it.
Yeah, the rain.
It's far away though. It's gonna be late evening when it hits.
I gotcha.
But since the field is flat, you can see far away. It's gonna be a good hour and a half thunderstorm.
Got it. Okay. Mine is just lightning in the distance. You can kind of see it off a ways, but it's never going to actually get there. It'll just burn off. Because it's going to get hot because it's Texas.
Oh, see, I'm not a meteorologist. I didn't know if it was coming at me. I'm just saying it's in the distance.
Cool. All right.
But you can kind of smell it. You're like, oh, that hot, wet pavement. There's actually, did you know there's a German word just for that smell of rain?
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. Like, just it's one of those like random things that I know that's a thing, but I can't remember what that one word is.
Well, maybe whoever watches this can share that with us as well. So, all right. So let's get into the interpretation now of our experiment. All right. So the field is supposed to represent your mind. The size represents your knowledge of the world and how vast your personality is. The condition of the field, either dry, grassy, or well trimmed, is what your personality looks like at first glance. So yours was kind of grassy and healthy from the sound of it, with buttercups in it. So it says you feel optimistic. Mine is kind of all over the place. So I'm guessing that's probably hot mess mom. It's not on the list here, but that's kind of where I'm at. It's just like stuff everywhere. And it's the side of the road. So, you know, there's that too. All right. So the cube represents you, or how you perceive yourself. So the size of the cube is your ego. The surface of the cube represents what is visibly observable about your personality, or maybe it's what you want others to think about you. The texture of the cube, either smooth, rough, bumpy, etc., represents your nature. So it's kind of interesting. All right, so there's like interpretation thing here. So yours was smooth because it's pewter, and so was mine because it was glass. So it says you are a gentle person who takes care not to hurt others or make them feel uncomfortable. I would agree with that. For both of us, quite honestly. Your color, so since it's gray, I would feel like it would kind of fall under like the black because it doesn't have gray on here. So black silver? Says there's no silver.
Okay.
Oh, there's gray.
Yeah, there's go gray with gray
or black. Gray.
It's gray.
It says you are self-confident, independent, and not easily rattled. I would agree with that. And then for me, it says you are kind, independent, and self-reliant. I would kind of agree with that too. All right. Yeah. So if your cube is transparent, it means that you tend to let others know how you feel on the inside. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I talk too much? Probably.
It is what it is.
You are confident enough to share your inner thoughts, and you are deeply sincere. You know that you are good inside, and guess what? It shows. That's what most people see in you as well. And then yours, with being made out of metal or rock, it says indicates you have a solid integrity. Your personality is so strong that it cannot be bent or influenced by an external force. You are dominant and consistent. The whole time, what have I been telling you? To be what? Consistent.
Well, here's the thing.
But you have been.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, am I not?
No, you have been. You've been consistent like the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's pretty, like, it's wild that it says that you are consistent.
Okay.
I definitely agree with that. Okay, so the ladder, yours was like, was it made out of metal?
Aluminum, yeah. So I guess technically.
Like aluminum, and then mine was the wood ladder.
Yeah.
So the ladder represents two different aspects of your life, your goals and your friendships. First, let's look at what the ladder says about your goals. So the ladder length, if it's short, it means your goals are realistic and simple. So mine didn't get very long. It was just like one of those, like maybe 6-foot ones. I don't know. Is that short or long?
So you can have up to a 30-foot ladder for like painting crazy ceilings or whatever. You have long ladders.
So mine's probably short, right?
I would say if it's only a 6, like if your ladder is as tall as you are,
yeah,
it's not a step ladder. Like a step ladder is like probably the shortest, like a 3-step, just to like.
Right.
Then I think yours is like probably medium.
Okay, and then it says long. I think your ladder is very long, from the sound of it.
It gets that way. Phrasing.
So does it now? Your goals are more far-fetched and difficult to attain.
For me?
Yeah, that's you. Your goals are far-fetched and difficult to attain.
So the ladder that I envisioned,
yeah,
it folds down.
Okay, so it can be small.
So there have been times in my life when I've had a lot of goals.
Right.
I achieved some and tailored them. So goals are ever changing. Oddly enough, I feel that maybe the way I think about my ladder was the way I think about goals. I don't know why they correlate, but if I need to make more goals, I add it to a list and I try to achieve them if I need to.
Right.
But whether it depends on the time frames of those goals.
Right.
It's kind of dynamic. I'm a dynamic goal setter, just like my ladder. It works out. I'm about it.
So then both of our distances for our ladders were near. Okay. Near. And so you're putting maximum effort and focus into achieving your goals.
Hence my versatile ladder.
Correct. All right. So it says now the location, the material of your ladder can also tell you how close you are with your friends. You guessed it. The closer the ladder is to the cube, and the stronger the ladder is, the better it is for your friendships. So if your ladder is near your cube, you're very close with your friends. If it's actually leaning on the cube, it means your friends can lean on you for support. Right? So if your ladder is made out of strong material, like yours was, the stronger the material, stone, metal, the stronger the bond. Mine is just, my ladder's not weak by any means. It's very strong. It's just been used a lot. So I guess I use my friendships a lot. Like I rely on my friends a lot, and I do. But it says a weak ladder indicates a weak bond between you and those around you. All right, so the horse, we're moving right along.
Hold on.
Yes, you have a question?
not a question, but I wanted to elaborate on that. So it's weird how this whole test is. So my ladder is made of aluminum.
Right.
It was next to me.
Right.
It wasn't leaning on me, but it was next to me. It's always available.
Right.
Like whoever wrote this test really has a deep insight into the way these things can affect people, or they're really good at writing these kind of tests.
Right. And of course this isn't really based on anything, right? It's for fun.
Yeah.
This is not scientifically proven. It's not reliable and valid. Nobody's done extensive research on this. It's just for funsies.
100%. So I just wanted to make sure that I threw a plug in there that I have a strong ladder, even though it doesn't lean on me, it's next to me and I'm there for my people.
Correct. Me too.
And it's a smaller ladder, but it can get bigger if I need to.
So mine was like over my cube though. Like I kind of maybe enmesh with my friends.
You do.
But yet I'm separate from my friends. Like we're either together or like we're not, right? But I'm part of their lives, they're part of my life.
Exactly.
So, all right. So the horse represents your ideal.
Oh, Lord.
40-year-old horse.
What?
40-year-old horse. I'm your 40-year-old horse.
We stop.
All right. It could be playing, running around, or grazing right next to your cube or clear across the field. So if your horse is playing, my horse is playing, it means your ideal partner doesn't take life too seriously or get bogged down by little stuff. If it's sleeping or grazing, your ideal partner is calm and fully committed to you. All right. I'm half of those things.
You jumped on that grenade real quick.
Half of those things. I have 50% of those things. Is that accurate? You want somebody calm?
You are.
No, Boo Bear, I'm not though.
No, we talked about this in the last episode where I appreciated your respect, and your respect is also a level of calmness. You don't get spun out of shape. You're not a screamer, a yeller, a thrower.
But I am very fully committed to you.
Yeah. So you're just chilling in the field, eating grass. That's what's up.
Right. But yours was black and white, right? So
yeah.
it has the colors brown, black, and white. So brown was first. It says, you prize comfort and reliability above all else. Otherwise, you don't have a specific set of expectations for your partner. So that's true. I want things to be comfortable and reliable. I've told you this before, I don't like a whole lot of drama or craziness or fighting or any of that kind of stuff. Like, I don't want any of that. So black and white. So black says your ideal partner is dominant, seductive, and sophisticated. And then white says you value loyalty and trust more than anything else in a relationship.
100%.
Okay, so moving right along.
Hold on. So what other colors of horse are there?
So it says if your horse is a completely different color than the ones listed above, think Wizard of Oz, it means you value originality and independence in a partner. You want to be with someone who fascinates and challenges you. And then it says, one more factor to consider about the horse is its distance from the cube. If it's very near to the cube, it indicates that you prefer relationships where you spend most of your time with your partner. If the horse is a bit farther away from the cube, it indicates a need for a partner who will understand and accommodate your desire for alone time.
Okay, well, my horse was just chilling next to me eating grass next to the ladder. Yeah, that's okay.
Yours almost reminds me of like, so in children that have autism, children with autism, a lot of times they'll do something called parallel play, where it's like one kid's over here playing, or even like some toddlers will do this. Like they'll be playing over here, and then their friends are playing over here, and they're both playing, but just not playing together.
Yes, but maybe
they're together, but not playing together.
Right.
Okay, moving right along. Flowers. The flowers represent your family and friends. The number of flowers reflects your popularity, and their location indicates how close you are with your social groups. So, if they're everywhere, like both you and me had them everywhere, it means you're a social butterfly. It's a little on the nose for me. Anyway, with family and friends too numerous to count, you'll never be lonely. And then if it's just a few, you're close with your family, but have a small, tight-knit group of friends. So the weather condition reflects your general outlook on life. There's a reason we have expressions like, when it rains, it pours. So both of us talked about having sun in the sky, right?
Yeah.
And it says you are optimistic and carefree. I don't know about the carefree part. For me, I got lots of cares, but I try to be pretty optimistic.
Yeah.
Try. No thoughts on that?
Oh no, I didn't know you're. I didn't know if you were done speaking. I apologize. This is your show.
No, go ahead. I mean, talk, man.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So with the test's definition of what it means, so these tests, in my opinion, are a wee bit, if you have half a brain in your skull, you almost answer them thinking what you expect them to delineate on all of the different things. So for example, how close is, like, if you have a storm next to your field?
Yeah.
So in your head, you think, well, if I have a storm that's on top of me, I'm a sad person. That's not so what it explained.
Well, the rain in this one it says the rain symbolizes the problems in your life. The harder the rain, the bigger the problems. Fog just means you're uncertain. And then wind means you tend to worry about future issues. You generally let them get you down for a long time. Or you don't let them get you down for very long.
Yeah, so like I saw a storm a ways away. I knew it was coming.
Right. So the storm's the next part. Do you want to read? I can read that part.
Yeah. Go to the next part. Yeah.
So the storm is the strength and position of the storm reflects the stress you're feeling in life. As you probably guessed, the stronger the storm and the closer to the cube, the higher your stress level. If you imagine a storm raging right above your cube, it might be a good idea to work on reducing stress in your daily life. So mild, just passing through. They're strong in the background or right above your cube. Which one was yours? It was kind of in the distance, right?
It was one of those rainstorms you could smell coming.
Okay. So it's probably like in the background. So it says any obstacles that might be causing you grief are not at the forefront of your mind. You are good at managing your anxiety. And that's kind of where mine was too. But like right now, I'm like, I don't know if I'm handling that crap very well. Oh God, I don't know.
I think that test is kind of on point.
Yeah. So I'll send you the link and then we can tag it in there. So if other people want to try this one, it's kind of fun. So it says Romeo Antolin, hopefully I said that correct, modified this version of an older type personality test. So kind of cool. Yep. I liked it.
Many of the things hit the nail on the head, oddly enough. And I think that's the beauty of it, especially the storm part. It was, for me, the storm part, I have things in the background.
Right.
So for me, it's transitions to new lifestyles.
I gotcha.
They're not right here, right now, but they're coming. I'm thinking about them. It'd be interesting. It would be interesting to do that test with somebody that is going through some shit right now.
I kind of see what they have. Yeah. You should send it to some of your friends.
Maybe I will.
Maybe you will.
Maybe awesome. I will. Yeah.
Maybe I will. All right. So are you ready to switch gears to the next personality?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Test. All right. So astrology, as I'm sure you are aware, is something that I find very interesting. And of course, it's not based on any kind of hard and fast science, but there are aspects of astrology that do relate to science, real science. And by real science, I mean soft science, the kind of science that I do, social science. So in social science, there is the theory of temperament versus personality. So when you think about those two aspects of humans, temperament is something that everyone is born with. From the second that you're born, you have a temperament. Temperament involves certain characteristics such as how well do you sleep at night? What is your appetite like? How easily do you startle? And there, of course, there's other aspects. But it's interesting to think about temperament because there are certain things like my son. He has always had trouble sleeping since the moment he was born. For example, 3 days after he was born, he got day and night mixed up and he was awake for about 24 hours. And I just had him and I just gotten out of the hospital. So at that point, I had been awake for about 36 hours and about lost my freaking mind. So when I say temperament is from the moment you're born, it's actually a little bit before you're born. Even in your utero, you have a temperament. So it's just how you are. And then like who you are at the core. And so personality is what develops around your temperament. So are you an outgoing person? Are you an introvert? Those kinds of things are personality type traits. Okay. So when you think about those two things, a lot of people simplify it down to nature versus nurture. So your nature would be your temperament and your nurture would be your personality. So in astrology, that's all to say that in astrology, there's something called your star sign and there's something called your rising sign. And your star sign is everybody born between this date and this date is this. So that would be your temperament. It's what you're born with. You're born between this date and this date. This is what you are.
Is that annually or is that?
So it's every month. So if you're born January 20th, you are an Aquarius.
Okay, so it rotates. 11th. It's not annually. It's.
Well, there's aspects of your star chart that don't change. So somebody who was born over this whole year could have a planet in this, because you think about how often planets move. The farther out from the sun, the less they move. So the farther out they are, the less accurate they are. Okay.
That's what
So
I just because the way you're talking about it, I just wanted to clarify.
correct.
It's not
So
just it like every year it changes, but like for every year it's similar, but every year that goes past, it does change a little.
right.
Okay.
So thinking about your sun sign though, uh, you're an Aquarius, I'm a Sagittarius. Everybody who's born between this day and this day is that. That's their sun sign, right? Your rising sign would be what they would consider your personality. So you could be like, for you, your rising sign is Virgo, but your sun sign is Aquarius. So Virgo is a different sign completely, but it fits how you are perceived by other people. Okay. Are you with me so far? Okay. And then
Barely.
you think about each of so the sun is not a planet. It's a star. So they call it a star chart or your planets. I get like the sun and the moon are not planets, but they're part of your star chart. And so what ends up happening, so before we did this, I asked you for the exact time that you were born, and I asked you where you were born. I'm not going to share this out for
Yeah.
everybody on here, but those are the things that you need. You need your exact birthday, including the time, and you need the place. And then there's lots of places where you can type in that information and it'll spit out your chart for you. So for you, your rising sign is Virgo, and it says you tend to be very shy and not very self-assertive. You are super critical of how you appear to others. Even though you may think you are uninteresting and dull, you're actually quite soft-spoken, orderly, neat, and very likable. You are a perfectionist with high standards and at times can be quite tactless in pointing out the faults of others. Very practical, efficient, purposeful. Your appearance and bearing reflect on your need to appear graceful, sensible, and reserved. You have a crisp, no-nonsense approach to dealing with others. Never lazy or self-indulgent, you tend to be dedicated to the work ethic.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much describes you.
You think so?
And how you present yourself to others. The tactless part, I'm not quite so sure. You can be kind of blunt though, I think at times, and people can probably take that the wrong way.
Oh no,
but
me and a friend are working on another podcast where I get to say what's in my dirty little mind. Yeah.
Yeah. But like me as a Sagittarius, like that doesn't matter to me. Like you as long as it's truthful, you can say whatever you want to me.
So there's one thing to be said about saying I'm not tactless when it comes to giving someone actual feedback.
Okay.
If they desire the feedback that they prefer from me, I'm not gonna degrade them or be tactless.
Oh
But I
no.
do love telling inappropriate jokes.
Scott, can you pause this for a minute?
Sure. What's
I
up?
gotta plug my laptop.
All right,
All
and we're
right.
back.
We're back. Sorry, I just needed I had to plug in my laptop. All right, so that was yours. And again, like with star charts and all this kind of stuff, it's about 80% accurate on most of them. Okay. So your rising sign, how you present to the world is like a Virgo.
Okay.
For me, I present to the world like a Sagittarius. And you're going to notice as I go through my chart, a lot of my planets and stuff are in Sag. I'm very much a Sagittarius.
It rhymes with badge.
It does. You're right. Okay. So here's mine. So rising sign is in Sagittarius. You are known for being open, frank, outgoing, and honest. At times, though, you are also blunt and quite indiscreet. I think you probably agree with that one. Others have to learn to not take everything you say personally because you usually do not mean any harm. You appreciate living your life in a straightforward and simple manner, and you dislike social niceties and consider them to be hindrances to real communication. You have lots of energy and become quite restless if you feel confined. You demand the freedom to do as you choose. You must be self-directed or you feel trapped and anxious. With your abundant energy, you enjoy being outdoors and should be attracted to physical exercise or to those forms of sport which can help you burn off some of that excess energy.
Like jogging.
And other things. Very gregarious. You love to socialize. Your innate enthusiasm livens up any gathering. So that's my personality. And I would agree with most of that.
I mean, yes, you are absolutely how do I put it?
I'm a dynamo. I have moxie. I'm sassy.
You are a personality, exactly.
I am not one of those people who can easily hide, as Elton John said it in his song. Okay.
You enjoy karaoke.
Oh my God, I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah, karaoke. Yeah.
Karaoke. Yes. All right. So thinking about temperament versus personality, your rising sign again is your personality. So your sun sign is your temperament. And for you, it's Aquarius because of when you were born.
Aquarius.
And for me, it's Sagittarius. So Aquarius, for you, you get bored with the status quo and are generally open to new things and ideas. An individualist and a free spirit, your friends are quite important to you as long as they do not try to tie you down by making too many emotional demands on you. Your thoughts are offbeat and you're a bit eccentric, but not always very changeable. As a matter of fact, you can be quite stubborn at times. Very fair-minded and always dealing with larger groups or broad issues. You are not always emotionally sensitive to the needs of others. Extremely objective with good powers of observation. You would be qualified to study technical and complicated subjects like science, computers, or maybe even astrology. Science or computers.
So what you're trying to say is
you're an Aquarius.
due to the fact that I was born sometime in December or January.
No.
Just straight up January?
It's like January, beginning of February.
All right. Well, depends on the star chart you look at.
No.
So
everybody who's born between this state and this state is an Aquarius.
So why are there people that, like, for example, like people have told me I'm a Capricorn and there's other people that have told me I'm a Aquarius?
Oh, because that's either Western or Eastern astrology.
That's what I'm saying. So
but I don't do Eastern astrology. I do Western astrology. All right. So and my sun sign Saggy, which is, there's going to be a lot of repeats. You're just going to hear a lot from my rising sign.
Yeah.
Very fun loving, spirited, and energetic. You have a huge reservoir of physical energy within you that needs to be released. As such, exercise or sports are very important to you. Gregarious, blah, blah, blah. I'm consistently curious about the broader issues of life. You may at times be quite careless and sloppy about the details, like not checking my mail. You tend to leap to conclusions before all the facts are in. An avid reader, you are totally enthusiastic about any given subject should it interest you. You are known for being positive, idealistic, generous, sociable, and cheerful. All right. So next is the moon. All right. The moon.
All right.
So when you're thinking about the moon is like your emotions and your thoughts and like how you think about things, right? So, and like it's more of like your emotional thought self.
Yeah.
Right. So yours is in Leo. So Leo's the lion. Okay.
Rawr.
Rawr. So your moon's in Leo, and it says you always want to be proud of yourself and will never do anything that will make yourself look bad. You need the respect and admiration of others and enjoy attracting attention to yourself. Anything you do tends to be self-emphasized and self-exaggerated. Very stubborn, willful, and independent yourself. Be sure to allow others who are close to you the similar right to be themselves. Your need for love, affection, and reassurance and your tendency towards vanity allow you to have your head easily turned by flattery. The more insecure you are and the more you tend to be a show-off, the more insecure you are, the more you tend to be a show-off. That's what I meant to say. You love games and sports as a matter of fact, and you would usually rather play than work. Be careful of a tendency to be snobbish and uppity. It does not become you. Don't be a snob.
Whoa, chill.
What?
What?
All right. And so my moon is, I bet you can guess what it's in.
So hold on, before you move on.
Okay.
When having got to know me for the past few months, when you read that, how accurate do you think that is about me?
About 80%. I don't think you're snobbish. I think you can judge people though. I've seen that.
100%. Yeah, I won't even. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
So it might not tend to be snobby, but you can be very judgmental.
Yes.
And I'm not saying it in a mean way. It's facts. You'd be like, that person's a train wreck.
Yes.
Yeah. Like they're driving the train. They are the train conductor of the Hot Mess Express. So yeah, so my moon's in Sagittarius. So it's a lot of the same stuff again. The only thing that's kind of new is since it's my emotions and my mental state, it does talk about me being curious, enjoying traveling, learning about other people and cultures, those kinds of stuff. And that I have an incessant desire to learn as much as possible about metaphysics, religion, philosophy, and any other broad, deep subject like language. And my life tends to be punctuated by bursts of energy and frenetic activity.
Yeah.
All right. So thinking about the planets now, which planet is closest to the sun?
Venus.
Try again.
Oh, dang it. Hold on.
Mercury's the second planet. It is the hottest planet, though. Mercury.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
Okay. So Mercury was the god of... He was the god, like the messenger god, right? So he's the one that had like the little feathers on his shoes. Like FTD Florist has him. They also called him Hermes, right? Hermes or Mercury.
Oh,
but he was the messenger god.
Who's Icarus?
Icarus was the son of Daedalus, or Daedalus and Icarus. He was an inventor. He's the one that flew too close to the sun with his wings made out of wax. He was imprisoned. That's like a whole nother like story.
Oh, all right.
He didn't have wingy dingy shoes. That's Mercury. Had the wingy dingy shoes.
All right, fair enough.
He was also called Hermes, depending on if you're talking about Greek or Roman.
Okay.
And so he's the messenger god, and so Mercury is the planet of communication. So it talks about how do you communicate with others? How do you express yourself?
Yeah.
And so yours is in Aquarius again. And mine's in Capricorn, which this is the only one that I don't think really matches me, is the Capricorn.
All right.
I don't think it really matches me. But I'll read yours first. All right. So Mercury, you tend to be very opinionated. You have strongly felt notions about things and are quite vocal about expressing and defending them. Yet you are also an original thinker. You enjoy shocking others with your offbeat original thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Keep going.
You appreciate and need mental and intellectual stimulation. Your judgment is usually fair and impartial, and you can be a good critic because you can remain objective and unemotional about most things.
I try.
I don't know. Sometimes you get emotional, but that's okay. I like it.
So there are things. So that statement in and of itself is very vague.
Yes.
So there are times to be partial because there are people that just need to be treated correctly. I'm not going to go into details.
Okay.
I'm saying there are people that don't follow those kind of like vague guidelines. So sometimes people need to be talked to away. And there's decisions that like if I were fair and impartial, I get spicy over the fact that there's a certain group of people that are doing things that are against the majority of the world's ethics.
Okay. Okay. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into details. There's just some people that just need to be talked to away versus another way.
Put in that one for a different podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So my Mercury is in Capricorn. So it says you are a careful thinker, very cautious and conservative. I don't know that I'm cautious or conservative. Say I'm probably reckless and liberal. So I disagree with that part. You are quite skillful at organizing, directing, and planning activities. I would agree with that. Practical and useful things interest you. You are not attracted to abstract thoughts or ideas. I disagree with that. The more abstract it is, the more I like it. With your tendency to be highly focused and very goal-oriented, you have a good head for business, but beware of the tendency to be narrow-minded and dogmatic. Your sense of humor tends towards being earthy and slapstick crude. I do kind of have a slapstick tendency, which I do like that. All right, so what's next? What's the second planet from the sun?
Apparently Venus.
It is. So your Venus is in Capricorn and mine's in Sagittarius.
Yeah, I was not a science major, so
it's okay. I'm here to help you. So who is Venus? Goddess on the mountain top. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I know a thing or I know something. Just
baby, she's got it.
I know a thing or two. I just the whole planet thing. I was just like,
it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. You're not being tested right now. Nobody's hurting you.
I just failed my SAT. I don't even know what to do.
God. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
All right, Venus. It says you tend to keep your feelings under control. Emotions are only released in serious or important situations. You are distrustful of others whose behavior could be judged as excessive or immoderate. As such, you prefer to relate only to those who are older than you or to those whose position is such that respect and duty are more important for both of you than passion or emotional response. Be careful, however, of relationships that are merely based on practicality, I can speak, or utility, or you will be ultimately lonely.
So you pause and wait for me to say something. But
Yeah.
how do you feel about that statement?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
I think it's about 80% correct there.
Yeah, what's not correct?
You tell me. It's about you, dude. Be self-aware. You tell me. You tell me. It's very boring just to listen to the Liz show. Like, come on.
All right, duly noted. So
Let's have some Scott show too.
So say that first part again.
You tend to keep your feelings under control.
Yeah.
Emotions are only released in serious or important situations.
Okay, so thank you. That's the part I wanted to like focus on. So as far as that goes for me in relationships,
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel a lot of people are unaware of that. And I've had to like really like dial that back and dial it in and figure it out. So there's a lot to be said about a person that can control their emotions. So one of my somebody like taught me this, and then one of like the quote that I give to other people is every day in life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it.
I would agree with that.
So if something doesn't go my way,
Uh-huh.
and there's a whole other probably personality slash, like autism spectrum disorder discussion to have about that. But if things don't go my way in the day, how I react to that determines how people see me as a person. And it could be as simple as, all right, so like I work on airplanes. If somebody comes in and says, hey, I can't fix the plane in the time that you told me to because I found these problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody comes in with more problems and no solutions, I could fly off the handle and yell and scream like, "Oh, bird, 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 bear!" Like, or you can like take a second, think about what they just said, and be like, "Okay, so what do we need to do? How can we solve this problem?" And it's a huge. It's like, do I fly off the handle because they gave me bad news, and then I blame them for the bad news, or do I take and interpret their bad news as a team problem, and how can we what solutions are there and can we fix this together and move on and get this thing done so we can move on further?
Right. Because you're thinking about Venus, she's the goddess of love, right? But this planet really rules relationships, any kind
Right.
of relationship, right? So you're thinking about this from a work point of view.
So with in that, yes. Do I want to be a very negative Nancy and make this person feel bad for the bad news they're giving me, or do I
Right.
think about it as it's not his problem, her problem, and my problem, it's our problem, and can we solve it together versus I make it their problem and they better figure it out.
Right. Well, that's interesting. I feel like you're very communicative. I've not really, we have not had very many that I can think of issues communicating.
Right.
Other than if it's via text. But text can be so misinterpreted. So
yeah.
All right. So you love like a Capricorn, but I love like a Sagittarius. So it says you are very aware of the need to maintain a high sense of morality in a relationship. Your loyalty and interest will remain consistent in any relationship, either friendly, personal, or business, that is based on fairness, honesty, and justice. But you will become greatly hurt and disappointed if the other person takes any but the high road with you. Also, you cannot tolerate anyone being overly emotionally possessive of you. You are known for your friendly, outspoken manner. I feel like it's right on.
Yeah.
For me. It's very straightforward. That's how I am. Very straightforward. And with me in relationships, I'm either all in or I'm all out. I'm not halfway in something.
Exactly. And then equating what I was trying to say before about my sign and your sign. If I become like, so like this, let's say that all right, take away the work thing. You and I have a disagreement. If I become overly emotional about it, I feel like what you said is that your sign will withdraw and not be like, not today, Isis, not going to do it.
Well, if it's too emotional, I'm going to probably say, like, I can tell that you're very upset about this. Maybe we should just take a few minutes and kind of calm down and then come back and talk about it when we're both a little bit more level-headed. Because for me personally, if I get very, very emotional like that, chances are I'm going to say something I don't mean. And it's going to be fucking mean. It's going to be like really mean. And it's going to be something I don't mean. And it's going to cut you to the fucking core. Like, and it's something that I can't take back. And so I've learned in my 44 years of life, when I start to get to that point, I will say, you know what? I need a few minutes. I need to go calm down. I might get in my car and just drive around the neighborhood for a minute. Go get me a taco. That always helps. Or some coffee. Get my shit together. And then, because I feel like I can't communicate effectively with all the emotion in it. I gotta take some of the emotion out of it.
100%. Exactly.
So the last planet that we're going to talk about, because everything else is beyond like the Kuiper belt, and that's very far and they don't move very much. I know, a big old nerd. That's what you like about me though, right?
100%. I love it.
Big old freaking nerd is Mars. Because of course you don't do Earth, because this is all from where all the stuff was on when you were born on Earth.
Right.
This is where all the planets are in the sky. So for you, your Mars is in Aquarius, and my Mars is in Leo. And Mars is the god of war, right?
Yeah.
So it has a lot to do with, like, how do you argue? How do you disagree?
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with physical intimacy, sex, right? That kind of stuff. Your actions, how do you kind of move around in the world? How do you take up space in the world? And your instincts. Okay?
Okay.
So you're in Aquarius. So it says your ideas and opinions are usually inventive and original, but sometimes you are merely eccentric and offbeat. You are altruistic. You will work hard for the attainment of group goals as long as they meet your high standards. You tend to resent traditional authority figures which is surprising because you think that your ideas are better thought out and more valuable than theirs. I wonder how that works in the Navy. Does that work out for you? I'm curious. Right. Very idealistic. You are a rebel with a cause.
So that is a little jaded, or it's not jaded. How do I put it? Slightly inaccurate, because over time I've learned to be more synergistic than dictatorial.
Yeah.
It's when I was younger, 100%.
Young Scotty.
Oh, he was a douchebag. Anyway, probably still is. But in this day and age, there's something to be said about learning how to be a part of a synergistic team.
Okay.
And learning how to weigh pros and cons.
Okay.
And really think outside the box about solutions to problems.
Yeah.
Now, in here, is that 100% accurate? I'd give it like 80%.
Which is what I've said the whole time, right? It's like 80% accurate.
But at my stage in life, I can now see the forest for the trees. I can like really listen to other people's ideas, not put them down, not overthink what they said, listen to them, think about their ideas. And sometimes I know when to fall on a sword. Like if there's just no other idea and I think that my idea is the best, I will die on that hill. Other than that, I will listen to everyone's idea, think about it, give my input. And as a team, I'm down to be one voice with the team that I'm with.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah.
All right. So my Mars is in Leo, which is the lion. So I fight like a lion. You've seen me disagree a little bit.
Yeah.
Push back. Would you call it a lion?
At times.
Okay. So you're a very proud person. Strong, bold, courageous, and self-possessed. You love to be the one to initiate significant actions. When people expect a lot from you, you respond positively and will work hard in order to maintain their respect. But when your dignity or pride is threatened, you will tend to become sarcastic, arrogant, and domineering. And I definitely agree with this. Try not to take any challenge or resistance that you meet as a personal affront. You are very stubborn about your right to live your life according to your own principles. And I definitely agree with that. So this took a lot longer than I thought it would, by the way.
Yeah.
So we might have to have a part 2.
Maybe, maybe not. I do need to pause for a second.
Okay.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right. So our next personality type test would be the Myers-Briggs. And it's not based on anything other than just fun. So far, all the things that we've done are just fun. There's no science that backs up any of it. And a lot of people put a lot of stock in the Myers-Briggs test. But when it comes to human beings do not reside on a dichotomy. We're not either this or that. And the situation, the subject matter, the people that are around us can oftentimes impact how we behave or how we act. So is somebody consistently introverted? Are they consistently shy? Probably not. right? When you're around people that you're comfortable with, you will open up more, you'll talk more. And a lot of people mistake the words like introvert and extrovert to mean shy or outgoing, and they are not. So thinking about this personality type, the way that it's laid out is there's 4 different types of traits, and you are either this side or you're this side, and they think of it as along a continuum. And so the Myers-Briggs duo base their work off of the work of Jung, his last name, the psychologist, Dr. Jung. So the first step is either are you an extrovert or are you an introvert? And a lot of people confuse these 2 terms with shy or outgoing, but really what introversion is where do you get your energy? Do you get your energy from other people? That's extroversion. Introversion is you get your energy from being by yourself. So you can think of it this way: when you're in a large group of people, do you feel energized afterwards or depleted afterwards? So for me, for me personally, I love being around people because I feel energized afterwards. I could go clean a house, I could pave a road, I could re-shingle my roof. I feel energized after being around people. What about you?
So for me, it's weird.
Okay.
Long term, I get energy being alone.
Okay.
Then I can do extroverted things. Like I'll do an open mic. Like I will do a time where I'm alone, and then I want to get that energy out. And then I'll go do like stand-up comedy, or I'll go like do karaoke, or I'll go out to a party. And then after that party, I come home.
But you need recharge time after.
100%. Yeah, like I'm just like, nah,
So looking at this, then you are not a true extrovert. You're an introvert. You're what they would call an outgoing introvert.
Sure.
There's shy extroverts who are people who love going out, but they'll just sit like at karaoke, they'll sit at the end of the bar and they'll just drink their drink and watch everybody else. They don't necessarily interact with anybody else, but they're there and they're around other people.
Yeah.
So that's the first dichotomy. The second one is sensing or intuition. So sensing people, it's really thinking about how do you like to take in information. So if you're a sensing person, you focus on the reality of how things are. You pay attention to the concrete facts. So it's all about just the facts, right? If you're more of an intuition, you imagine the possibility of how things could be. You notice the big picture and how everything connects. So for you, where do you think you fall more? And more on the sensing or more on the intuition side?
Intuition.
I would be the same way. And I think for me, the reasoning is because of my childhood and how I grew up. I had to constantly be paying attention to how things felt as opposed to how things necessarily were.
Yeah.
So the third dichotomy is thinking or feeling. When this is how you prefer to make decisions. So if you're a thinker, you make decisions in an impersonal way using logical reasoning. You value justice and fairness. If you're feeling, you base your actions on personal values or how your actions can affect others. You value harmony and forgiveness, and you like to please others. So where would you fall on this dichotomy?
The feeler.
Me too. I'm definitely a feeler as opposed to the thinker most of the time. but I also base decisions on facts as well. So that's where it's, if I'm having to choose one or the other, I would probably lean more towards feeling, but thinking definitely falls into it as a social scientist.
So
I
if I was,
like facts.
I feel like if I were a thinker, I'd be much more of an asshole than I am now.
I don't know about that. For those people that are watching, I study social science, and so I'm constantly looking for data all the time, which makes it probably difficult to date me. Bless your heart, Scott, because I'm constantly looking for data points, and looking for trends over time and themes for consistency and those kinds of things. So bless you. It's charity work. You're doing the Lord's work right now. Good for you. And then the last dichotomy is judging versus perceiving. So this is how you prefer to live your outer life. So if you're judging, you prefer to settle matters. You prefer to have matters settled, not things up in the air. You think rules and deadlines should be respected. They're not just merely suggestions. You prefer to have detailed step-by-step instructions, and you make plans and want to know what you're getting into. So I couldn't say, if you were a judger, I couldn't say, hey, pack your bag, we're going. Because you'd have to be like, okay, where are we going? How long are we going to be there?
I'm a judger, 100%.
I'm not. I'm so not. Bless your heart again. You have to deal with my crazy butt. So you prefer to have your options open. You see rules and deadlines as flexible. And I think I used to be a lot more of a type A personality where like, oh my gosh, this deadline is looming and I need to make sure I have this done. But I think as part of the doctoral program, yes, there's deadlines that are hard and fast, but for the most part, especially with this dissertation process, I set my own deadlines. I'm on my own schedule. So perceivers also like to improvise and make things up as they go. But again, it depends on the situation. If it's something for work, deadlines are not a suggestion.
Sometimes, like you said, it depends on the situation.
So you need to think though, the way that the test is set up, they make you force you to choose between this and this. And people are not hard and fast. We are not black and white. Humans are shades of gray. And so that's why most social scientists regard Myers-Briggs as unreliable. It's not valid. And when you're looking at tests of any kind, you want to look for reliability. Does it give you the same information every time? Is it valid? Is it actually testing what you want it to test?
Yeah.
And this one is neither valid nor reliable, because if I'm feeling a different way on some day and I answer a question in a different way,
yeah,
I can get a completely different outcome. I can get a completely different outcome every time. But it is, for entertainment purposes, interesting to think about. With those 4 different dichotomies, you have 16 different personality types. I know some businesses, like the military especially, really at one point were really utilizing that Myers-Briggs.
So they were looking at it. So I've been to counseling, and like the counselor that gave it to me was looking at how I was feeling in a snapshot of time.
Right. Right.
So it allegedly, depending on your school of thought, it could be a tool to help tailor somebody's counseling and therapy in a moment.
Correct.
But over time, in that period of time, I'm not that smart. I don't know. I don't have a degree in this.
Again, it's not valid or reliable. So it's
No, I
not.
would I would do it at the beginning of like every therapy. Like if I had a new counselor, they would make me do it again to see where I'm at. And there was one time, like I've been like three different, you know, I've been a INTJ and ENFJ and an INFJ. And I can't remember what any of those are.
Right.
But whatever time that was how I felt.
Right. So it has kind of the Myers-Briggs has kind of gone the way in educational psychology kind of circles, the same direction as learning theory, like the learning styles theory, where are you kinesthetic or are you visual? Are you audio? Are you, artistic or whatever? Because in any given situation, different people will use a combination of those to learn. You might have maybe a preference on how you like to get information, but based on the subject, the time of day, your age, your comfortability with the topic, how you get information can change. So it's kind of gone the same way as that, right? So the last thing, which I think is super fun, is the love languages. So thinking about love languages, there's a whole book on love languages. If you are into, those of you that are watching and want to learn more about that, the 5 different love languages are physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, and quality time. So those just are just like what they sound. So people who express themselves or experience love generally have a preferred way of experiencing love, and it's usually the way that they express love as well. And I was watching a TikTok the other day, and they were saying that your preferred love language is oftentimes the thing that you were missing as a child. And that kind of blew my mind, because my love language is words of affirmation. So I saw that and I was like, holy shit. So there's a test that you can take online, and you can find out your preferred love language. So for me, the top one is words of affirmation, and then tied for second place is quality time and acts of service. What about you, Mr. Scotty?
So I'm about physical touch.
Yes, like most men.
Next is acts of service. Actually, physical touch and like quality time kind of like go hand in hand. And then like acts of service.
Yeah. For me, gifts is kind of at the end. Not that I don't like them, it's just not how I feel most loved, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's difficult with you on deployment to touch you.
Yeah.
I'll touch you. Just come closer, tiny dancer.
Right.
Hold me closer, Tony Danza.
Oh God, what's he up to these? I wonder what Tony Danza's doing.
I don't know. What is Tony Danza up to these days? Probably just living his best life. He deserves it. Freaking Tony Danza.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's just your preferred way of expressing love and how you feel loved.
Yeah. I try to send you words.
I know you do. You're really good at it. And you do lots of acts of service, which is super nice.
I try.
And we get like quality time like this.
Yeah.
Which is nice. You're doing a good job. You do a good job.
So do you.
Just stay consistent. That's all.
Well, I tried.
Stay consistent.
Yeah.
So I guess we're coming to the end of our podcast here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed all the different personality tests.
Yeah, we'll call this one done, and then we'll make another one the next time we have time.
Yeah, so we got to leave it on a kind of feel again.
What's a huh? All right. Well, hey. The next time we do one, we'll have a good time. The next one is gonna be really good because we're gonna talk about being adult.
Yes, it's adulting. That's the topic.
Yeah.
Is adulting tips. So come back and I can tell you about how I fixed my toilet. And on that note.
All right. I'll talk to you later. I love you.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye.